They call it faith because in the face of darkness, you can see that brighter future. A faith that our best days lay ahead of us. But is it worth the fight? Do I have the courage? Is it worth the sacrifice? America has been worth it every single time.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' wife, Casey, launched her husband's 2024 presidential bid with the video that you just watched. Her Twitter post on Tuesday night, the night before DeSantis is expected to announce, included the caption, "America is worth the fight every single time." Wow, brave words, brave words. Now, DeSantis is expected to make the announcement through a Twitter Spaces event alongside Elon Musk. The discussion will be moderated by David Sachs, who happens to be a close business advisor to Musk. And Trump has, of course, already tried to hijack DeSantis' announcement by viciously insulting him, which is one of the only entertaining developments in this unrelentingly hellish news cycle. Resorting to his nicknames of Ron DeSantis and Rob DeSanctimonious, Trump repeated his usual talking points for the Florida governor, saying he desperately needs a personality transplant and calling him a disloyal person and a despicable or disciple of horrible rhino Paul Ryan. Does anyone even remember Paul Ryan anymore? Like, I love that Trump is still obsessed with Paul Ryan, but nonetheless, Trump also turned to one of his favorite jabs and took credit for DeSantis's political success. Look, Rob DeSanctimonious came to me asking for help, Trump wrote. He was losing badly by 31 points to popular Agriculture Commissioner Adam Putnam. Yeah. Let's just pause for a second. Popular Agriculture Commissioner Adam Putnam? I mean, everyone was talking about Adam. Anyway, he was getting ready to drop, Trump continues, drop out of the race, ran a terrible campaign. Ron told me he had one last chance, my support and endorsement, which Putnam and everyone else wanted also. I gave it to Ron, and the race was over. In one day, he went from losing badly to winning by a lot. With 3 large Trump rallies, he won the general election in an upset. Disloyal, because Trump is obsessed with the fact that Ron DeSantis would dare to run in a primary against him after Trump, to be fair to him, did help him win governor of Florida. But this is how politics works, big guy. But let's continue with more of the insults. Before I get to the next post from Trump, I should note, this is exactly what I think Trump should do if he wants to defeat DeSantis in messaging. And this is the message that he had in a subsequent Truth Social post. I think that he's probably gonna lean into this a lot more as the primaries heat up. He wrote that Ron DeSantis can't win the general election or get the nomination because he voted to obliterate Social Security, even wanting to raise the minimum age to 70 or more, voted to badly wound Medicare. Look, whether the left wants to admit it or not, Trump's faux, and to be sure, it's faux, economic populism worked in 2016. And I do think he's going to tap into that again for the 2024 election. If he persistently stays on that message, he's got a great shot in beating Meatball Ron. But of course, since Trump can't help himself, he also put out this pretty outlandish and insane all caps post reading, quote, "I built the greatest economy in the history of the world. No inflation, energy independence, and soon dominance. The strongest border ever, record best employment numbers. Biggest tax and regulation cuts, that's definitely true. Rebuilt our military, no wars with Russia, Ukraine, or China, Taiwan, or anywhere." He did expand the drone war, of course. And the USA was respected all over the world except for when they laughed at him as he gave a speech on the world stage. What else can I say? Election interference. But while Trump is having his meltdown, Nikki Haley has decided to hit DeSantis in a more strategic way by mocking him as a Donald Trump copycat.
Can I tell you what? It is a flip-flop. He was totally different. Whatever I want, he wants now. You're fired. You're fired.
Then Mr. Trump said, "You're fired." I love that part.
Make America great again.
Make America great again.
Instead, calling the Russian invasion a territorial dispute. Even some Republicans on the Hill with tough words for DeSantis.
Do you want Ukraine to win this war?
I don't think in terms of winning and losing. Anybody here would do it.
Project to get
Judges are a priority.
And honestly, we have businesses that have been locked down and lives destroyed for over a year. Makes us say.
I gotta say, I love the parts of that ad that show Ron DeSantis mimicking Donald Trump's hand gestures, because he is a copycat. I mean, it's obvious, it's clear, and those examples make it clear. Haley also released a 3-page memo slamming DeSantis for his lack of personality and people skills, as if she's got a big personality and lots of people skills. But to be fair, the critique against Ron DeSantis lacking charisma is an accurate criticism. I mean, this was the panicked look on his face after reporters asked him about Trump's insults, and honestly, it's hard to get the cringy image out of my head. But Haley also took a jab at DeSantis's alleged willingness to engage in petty political fights, which really does make one wonder why she's attacking DeSantis on that rather than Trump. In fact, anytime Haley has had the opportunity to attack Donald Trump, she refuses to do it. She'll instead pretend like she's all about civility.
Back to my original question, though, because anybody that is looking or seeking a nomination, you're going to be comparing and contrasting your policy positions, your views, what direction you want to take the country with your competitors. Right now, there's former President Trump is the only other candidate for the nomination. We expect many others, maybe even Mike Pompeo, who was on earlier in the program today. Where do you see, if you see, policy differences beyond what you mentioned, which are generational differences? What specific policy areas would you say part with Donald Trump?
What I am saying is I don't kick sideways, I'm kicking forward. Joe Biden is the president. He's the one I'm running against. And what I'm saying is you don't have to be 80 years old to be president.
What happened, Nikki? I mean, you're throwing punches at DeSantis before he even announced officially that he's running. I thought that you kick sideways, or not sideways, you kick forward. I mean, it's really interesting. Now, maybe Haley knows she's a long shot presidential candidate and she's banking on Trump winning again and possibly handing her another cabinet position. Maybe she's holding out hope for VP. Maybe she, like all other GOP losers who sucked up to Trump only to get burned later, has a death wish. I don't know. What I do know is that all of these Republican candidates, whether it be Trump, DeSantis, or Haley, stand for politics that exacerbate the challenges America is already facing. They all love to distract the American people with culture wars that pit us against one another. And as soon as we're distracted with that, they dole out goodies for their corporate donors. One of the only things that Trump accomplished during his time as president was tax cuts for the rich and an expanded drone war abroad. Nikki Haley has been a longtime darling of the private defense industry. The idea of Haley as commander-in-chief as more government officials beat anti-China war drums is concerning to say the least. And as we all know, Meatball Ron has been particularly vicious and censorious in the state of Florida. He has paved the way for hatred toward educators. He has created a situation in which we're now seeing books being banned. We have abortion bans in Florida. And there are, of course, other authoritarian big government laws in the state of Florida, all as he boasts about being a warrior for freedom. But look, the silver lining here is that we get to watch them fight. And I sure as hell will continue to enjoy that. There isn't really much else in the news to enjoy anyway.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.